Hi everyone, my name is Amin Younasi and in this video I want to explain how to configure GRE tunnel between these two sites. Imagine that you have a site 1 and site 2 in your company. Site 1 as a central office and site 2 will may act as a one of your branch offices in your company. And you want to find a solution, a technology, you know, flexible technology, a scalable technology with less cost to connect resources of each sites together. So a tunnel or VPN should be one of the best options to do this or to reach to this goal. Or also you may use different type of tunnel, GRE, IP, you may want to use, for example, those type of remote to site VPNs or remote to site protocols like PPTP, L2TP, OpenVPN, and SSTP and more. But by the means of site to site, I mean that using remote to site as a site to site to reach to this goal. I will explain them those complicated scenarios for you in the next video series. So let's dive into the configuration. First of all, I create the IP address on all of those routers and also choose a identity or host name for them. Then we will go to step by step, go to configuration. On interface Ethernet number 2 with the comments ISP to customer 1. IP address add address 101.2.1/30 on interface Ethernet number 3 with the comment ISP to customer 2. I configured these two IP addresses. Also, these IP address, you may think uh, how this IP address received dynamically on this router, ISP router, because I connect these to my management interface to my, that's network address VMnet number 1. It receives an IP address from the DHCP from there. Let's go dive into R1. System identity set name R1, and the IP address should be 101.1.2 in my case with /30 on interface Ethernet number 1 with a comment WAN address. IP address add address 192.168.0/1 will act as a gateway for this broadcast domain or for this LAN. On interface Ethernet number 2 with the comment LAN address. I issue the print command to be sure that everything here is working and correct. Also lets me enable Ramon protocol because I want to connect to my from my local PC to all of those routers by Vimbox. So let me come back to R1, issue tool Ramon set enable to yes. And now it's time to configure router R2. System identity set name R2, and IP address should be 101.2.2/30 on interface Ethernet number 1, maybe, yeah. And this interface with the comments, I choose WAN address, and also IP address 192.168.1.1 will act as its default gateway for as a get default gateway for this broadcast domain. On interface, let me choose interface number 2. Let me double check that everything is correct and working. Okay, so tool, Ramon, set enable, yes. Okay, everything is working and fine. And also I choose a Ramon protocol to connect to these routers from here, from my local PC. Let me open R2 also. You may check the identity, double check the identity from there. Okay, first thing is to configure a default route to our ISP on both sides. So I will go to my main routing table on my MikroTik because both of these pairs of tunnels must ping each other to connect to each other as a tunnel or with the same protocol by the means of tunnel. So what is my gateway? From here, the gateway should be 101.1.1, the IP address of ISP on Ethernet number 2. 101.1.1 will be my default route. And on the other side, on R2, we may create a default route there. I will say that to reach to everywhere, send the packet to your default gateway. When I looking to this router from here, from this side, my gateway should be 101.2.1. Now, both of these routers can ping their public IP address or WAN addresses. And we will see that both of them can ping each other. In the next step, we will configure a GRE tunnel between these two sites, between these two MikroTik routers, and we will call them GRE tunnel interface. So let's go back to the configuration. I will open both of these routers. I will go to interface. From here, we will say GRE tunnel. From there, we will go to interface GRE tunnel also. And then we will click on add button. We will go to specify the local address. The local address here should be your WAN IP address. In this scenario, I use a public IP address, but you may use your intranet's WAN IP address here. And also the remote IP address should be the remote side public IP address. From other side of the link, my local IP address or WAN IP address should be 101.2.2 and the remote side should be 101.1.2. And after a few moments, you will see that both ends of the tunnel will receive a running flag behind each GRE tunnel interface. Okay, we create the tunnel. Let me create a shape for this because I need to be sure that everything will be clear here. So we do something like this. we will create a tunnel between these two routers. We will name it GRE tunnel. And also we will need to choose IP address, private IP address range for these two sides of the tunnel. For example, I use range, this range of IP address, and here should be the first IP address from this range, from this broadcast domain, and other side we will configure the second IP address. I mean the third IP address, because this is I use the um, /30 here, and uh, here we have four IP address. The first one should be the net ID. The second IP address, or the first usable IP address is this router IP interface tunnel IP address, and the second one or the second usable IP address should be for R2, and the last one, I mean 172.16.20.3 should be the broadcast IP. So let's configure. 20.1/30 should be for our GRE tunnel. It feels suitable for troubleshooting, for tracing the route, or something like that. And I recommend you, each time you create a tunnel, please set an IP address for your tunnel interface. Okay, now let's check the traffic if it goes through the tunnel. If I issue the ping to the other side of the tunnel, we may find that the traffic goes through the tunnel. Okay? Now I have to choose a decision, to make a decision to use which routing protocol to connect these two networks together. You may want to use OSPF. In this scenario, that's, for example, in this case, that you may use MikroTik RouterOS. It supports OSPF. And also the GRE tunnel is a tunnel that supports multicast traffic. So it can you may want to use OSPF to connect these two networks together, or you can simply use a static route in this simple scenario. So I will go to here to IP routes, and I will issue, or I will configure 192.168.1.0. To reach to that destination, you have to go to, from here you have to go to the next hop, and my next hop should be 172.16.20.1, and I will explain that here will be excuse me, should be 20.2, and I will set a command for it, or 2, or for example to site 2. I should say to reach to 192.168.0.0/24, you should send the packet to your gateway. 172.16.20.1 should be my gateway when I look at to the scenario from here. So I simply make a command for it to site 1. We can test our connection. We can issue a ping from here, from this interface to, for example, the ad interface. But first of all, let me configure those PCs. Let me check that if I configure the IP address for them. Okay, I think I configure IP address before. 0.1. Everything is okay. Now look at here. Let me open one of our tunnel interface to monitor the traffic here. And we will say that 192.168.1.1.2. I want to ping this PC from here. So let me check that. Okay, it says that destination host unreachable. Just first of all, let me double check that if I configure IP address here correctly. Um, okay, this guy hasn't an IP address yet. So I will simply come here and I will add an IP address 192.168.1.2/24, and the gateway should be this one. Now everything will be working. Let me check again. Everything is working fine, and also the traffic comes to the tunnel. And you may monitor the traffic by the means of torch on MikroTik. It's act as a capture on Cisco environments, Cisco devices environment, and you can see that the source IP address with 192.168.0.2 here. Try pinging, try using ICMP protocol to the destination 192.168.1.2, and everything is working successfully. I have to say thank you for watching to this video.